88.1 XFM, Taurang's hit music station, and also the second episode of Mic Time with Marty. I have got an interview live from Las Vegas. So say hello to Christian.
What's going on, everyone? How are y'all? Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to finally make this happen.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Can you kind of just let people know what exactly you do?
So I'm an entertainer. The easiest way to explain it, I guess, is if you combine gymnastics and circus stuff and put that together. And then obviously is the addition of my Chihuahua, who's kind of the star of our act, I guess you could say. So we currently perform here on a show on the Las Vegas Strip at one of the casinos. And on top of that, what we kind of have become more known for doing has been halftime shows for the NBA, the WNBA, and college games as well. And aside from that, we've done several TV shows. We had a pretty good run on America's Got Talent. We were finalists on that several years ago. 2 years ago, we won Germany's Got Talent. And then we've been on some other shows as well. And so pretty much just a little bit of everything. We're entertainers, and that's what we do. And when I say we, it's me and my Chihuahua. So that's pretty much the act. And the act in itself, I'm a hand bouncer, so I spend a lot of time balancing on my hands upside down. And then the Chihuahua is just another world talent. He does so many different tricks, and we combine tricks together. So at one point, I'm doing a handstand, and he's sitting on my feet while I'm upside down. And then he's got his own solo skills where he can walk on a basketball and dunk a basketball. And so the act is known as Christian and Scooby. And we've been doing this for a little while now.
Well, that is amazing. How did it feel when you won Germany's Got Talent, but also was able to participate in America's Got Talent?
Yeah, so participating on America's Got Talent, I was a little younger, so that was back in 2014. And so at the time, it was super exciting, but super nerve-wracking. Obviously, it was just, very nervous knowing that this was kind of like a big moment at the time for me in our career, and to get our name out there and to get established. And so it was huge for us. And on top of that, the experience was just so great. The other competitors, everyone was super, I would say, like welcoming and supportive. And when you're on a show like that, it's not like a gymnast that competes against someone else that's doing the exact same things as them. It's kind of hard to, we can be competitive, but it's kind of hard to compete for a guy that does what I do with a magician, with a singer. We're all in different categories, kind of. So at the end of the day, once we all kind of realize like it's out of our control, because it's just kind of whatever people like the most. It's not a linear comparison. So, everyone was just supportive, hoping that everyone did their best and came out with a good performance. And then you kind of let people vote and decide however they're going to decide. And then in Germany's Got Talent, that was 2 years ago. So at that point, it was pretty sweet to finally win one. Obviously on AGT, I was younger, and so just being in the finals was pretty big and pretty awesome. But but at this point in our career, we've been finalists on several shows. We were finalists on Italy's Got Talent as well. So being in Germany and winning that was huge, and it was super rewarding to know that, like, doing all these shows, we won that. We've won smaller shows, but this one was pretty big, and so it was a big time win for us.
Yeah. So having your Chihuahua like balancing on basketballs and doing all these insane but amazing little tricks, what was like, how did it start? Because like I try and like do tricks with my dogs, and they don't want a bar of it. So
Yeah.
how did it work for you?
So I was about 12, 13, and I was growing up with my family who used to perform in the circus. So we were on the road, and I just wanted a pet. I wanted a companion. So we got a small Chihuahua. That way he could travel with us. That's where the name Scooby comes from. So we got Scooby. And I would take Scooby to practice with me when I was practicing handstands, and the intention wasn't for this particular act. But I would teach him little doggy tricks like to sit and roll over and things like that. And then eventually one time I was just eating, like my dad was eating and I was just like laying on the floor watching TV, and Scooby laid on my back, and then he wanted some of the food that my dad was eating. So he did his little trick when he sits up on while he was sitting on my back. And so then it was just kind of like sparked this idea of like, maybe we can kind of copy and paste these two tricks together and make it something. And that's how it got started. And then once the ball got rolling, then it just continued. And then throughout the years, obviously Scooby was the original. And then Percy took over. That's the Chihuahua that mainly performs with me now. And then now it's Milo, who's the youngest one, who's still in, you could say, training, but I just pretty much take him to the performances. So he's around the crowds and he starts getting used to everything. And he would be the next one in line to take over. But the act is known as Christian Scooby because, if it wasn't for Scooby, we wouldn't have started or ever been doing this. So.
Yeah, fair enough. So you are an Illinois State University graduate. What was your what did you graduate for?
Yeah, so my degree is in broadcast journalism. So actually what you're doing right now. So that's what I got my degree in. And it's still something that obviously going into it, the idea was to have a plan B. Performing is just like, we're like athletes, if we get a bad injury, our career could be over. So it's not guaranteed. So you kind of take from it as much as you can. And eventually, that, your body's going to break down. And then that's when you have to have another plan. And so school and college was that plan for me. I love doing reporting and doing that side of it. But for right now, obviously performing is more unique and better for me. So that's what I'm doing now. But in the future, I'd love to, get into doing more and possibly working with the NBA. So that's been what's been best for me, is that I get to perform with the NBA now, and hopefully in the future then switch over to more of the broadcasting side and maybe work with a team or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So it says that you are followed by Brett Loudermilk and Matt Franco. Did you see them perform live?
Yeah. So actually, me and Matt we're friends from when we were on AGT together. The year he won, I was on it with him. So he was one of my closest friends on the show. We would get together like sometimes in the hotel room and watch the off weeks, like the weeks that we weren't in it, and then we would watch like the other episodes. And when we both advanced, we celebrated together. So Matt's a great guy, awesome dude, and obviously super successful now in Vegas. So super happy for him. And then Brett, I know for 2-3 years now. We worked on the same show. We worked for the same company out here in Vegas, so I see him fairly often. I just saw him like a week ago. So also a great dude. And he had a pretty cool run on AGT. So I was happy for him and seeing him be able to have that success.
Yeah. So speaking of Brett, he's a sword swallower. Do you ever, I don't know, maybe try some of that with your act, like have that kind of sense of danger?
Not like with like sword stuff, but obviously you don't want to get too comfortable ever in anything that you do. So I'm always trying to think of ideas of what I can do, but you kind of cater it to your strength. So my strength is a hand balancer, so I'll think of some tricks that maybe are more dangerous within the hand balancing category. And it's also something that a lot of the tricks that they may look pretty simple, but a lot of like, it takes, I don't know what it would take the average person, but it probably takes like about a year just to learn to do a regular handstand for like 10 seconds, let's say, so it takes a while. Then after that, it takes another at least year or so to learn to do a one-arm handstand, and then to control it. And then, so a simple trick that maybe only takes me on stage like 15 seconds took like over 3 years to develop, when you add all that time spent and practice and preparation. So, it's not as simple as like seeing another act and being like, oh, maybe I should try that. Whether it's Brett doing that or other people that do their acts, it's taken years and years of dedication. So to kind of set your mind to trying something completely different, you're thinking something different for years from now. So for me, I try to stick to my strengths and And I think most people do.
Yeah. All right. So last question, and then I'm just gonna play a little game with you.
Yeah, you're good.
So what is the training for your act? Like I know for your Chihuahua, like it's getting into the actual tricks, but for you, it's a lot of like upper body strength and stuff like
Ye-
that.
Yeah. So for me, it's mostly, practicing and repetition. So if I'm performing every day, which we are right now, pretty much, except Mondays and Tuesdays, we're off. Um, it's that repetition. Every day I'm working. So every day I'm staying in handstand shape. And then
Mm.
on top of that, physically, you want to stay in shape, so that it looks good when you're out there on stage. And so you maintain, a certain amount of strength for it. So like this morning, I was at the gym and you get that done out the way. A lot of like cardio and weights. I also don't have the cleanest diet, so that's why I do a lot of cardio, so I can eat what I want while I can, because I'll feel it as I get a little older. But and then with the pups, it's actually, with them, the challenge isn't just to get them to do the tricks. Like, so now in a little bit I'll have to go, because like the youngest one, Milo, will have some stage time, and we'll practice with him. He does the tricks, like he can do the tricks, but it's a matter of getting him to be comfortable on the stage with the lights, with the sound, eventually with the audience. So all those little things are steps in getting them there. So it's a long process. Sometimes I would even argue maybe some it depends on the animal too. Like they're just like kids, they all have a different personality, and you gotta kind of listen to them and see what their strengths are and how they'll develop different skills. And so with Percy, for example, I was able to just put him right into a show and he was good to go. With Milo, if you just throw him out into a stage with an audience, he's gonna get distracted. He's a little more, so with him, it's a matter of repetition. And like I said, like now we'll go over there to the theater and just blast music in the theater and have the lights just going, and I'll just practice with him on the stage. So that starts becoming more of like second nature for him, and so he gets comfortable. So yeah, there's just a lot that goes into it, and just like I said, mostly just listening to them and figuring out what their strengths are, and what they like and what they don't like, and what situations are better for them.
Okay. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to list some America's Got Talent competitors, and
Okay.
you've just got to name you've just got to say one or two words about them that comes to your head first.
Okay.
Okay. Shinlam.
Magical. I mean, yeah, the dude's freaking amazing. So I've seen his performances, and I think he's really good. I haven't seen him live in Vegas, but pretty awesome.
I was gonna say if you did, lucky you. uh Howie Mandel.
Germaphobe. That's the first word I thought of. But I mean, cool guy, super cool. But he is as advertised, so he is. You're not gonna shake his hand. You might get a little fist bump.
Okay. Cody Lee.
Super talented kid. Perseverance, I guess, would be the word I think of with him. I think it's a great story, and I think that that's half the battle. I think, obviously, just they always say like half the work is just putting in the work. So just showing up is half of it. And so obviously they say that in sports, and I think it applies in performance as well. If you're there clocking in the time, putting in the hours, like you'll get somewhere. So
All right, two more. Sophia Vergara.
Oh man. I would say funny. I think she's pretty funny actually.
Yeah.
And since she's been a judge, I think she's done a pretty good job. I was never really in it when she was a judge with me. But the few episodes I've seen on TV and stuff, like she's pretty funny. And plus I'm Mexican and she's Latina, so like the accent always gets to me too. So it's funny.
All right, last one. Of course, Brett Loudermilk.
I need to think of a good word for him. I want to say unique, but I can find a better one, because it's like it's like, I don't know if zany is the right word, but he's just unique. Like this is why I think, he had a great run on AGT, because he's different, and he's, I guess you could say, brave, because he'll say some things that maybe aren't going to fly well, but that's him. And that's what I respect the most about him, that, he'll just, I forget, like one time he said something to Simon or something like that. I don't know, but if he feels like saying it, he's not gonna like hold back. And so I thought he did a good job, just being himself on TV, and that's what I think his strength was. People like to see that. People like honesty, and people like the real deal. So yeah, I mean, he's pretty unique.
Yeah. Okay, Christian, I'm going to give you the floor. You are allowed to promote yourself however you want.
All right. Well, obviously, just whoever hears this, if you want to check out what we do, you can find us on Instagram or on Facebook or Twitter, Christian and Scooby. The @ is CASTOINEV. I'm not too often on social media, because sometimes, one time I spent like 5 hours a day on my phone, and I thought it was too much. So I was like, man, I need to start cutting down the hours on my phone and live life in the present a little bit more. But we're on there, pretty responsive. So obviously, as you know, so got back with you, and yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, and obviously supporting and letting us expand our platform.
Oh, no problem, man. Hopefully, you come back on America's Got Talent, or even have your own show.
Yeah, man. Or out here in Vegas, if you guys are ever out here, like I said, we're performing on the show at the Venetian. It's a pretty well-known show, pretty well-known company out here, and yeah, man. So on Instagram, you can see I usually post on there from our shows, and we're starting to get back and get busy again. So that's super awesome, super excited. And once the new basketball season starts too, we'll be pretty busy doing halftime shows.
Yeah. All right. Well, Christian, again, thank you so much for taking your time, and also good luck for your show today.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
All right. See you, man.
Bye.